Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Well, we have to say a special episode today, Thursday, the 6th day of June, 2024. Welcome. And we explained yesterday, we didn't get to complete all the subjects. We had no class on Monday, and we're not going to have any class Monday coming. So we decided that we're going to have this session today, Thursday, so that we can bring you up to date with all the events and all the things that are taking place. So welcome. And, as I have said repeatedly, and I repeat it again, you have to subscribe. I guess the persons who are on here now are not lacking in that respect, because they would have gotten the notice. Some of them would have been on yesterday and they would have heard me saying that we're going to have a program today. But for those who are not on and did not get the message because they did not subscribe, that is an opportunity for you to tell them. So we are going to ask you to share today more than ever. You need to share to let people know that we are on today. Many persons. So if you know one of your colleagues who would be on every day or frequently, and you see that they are not on, share to them and let them know that Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption is on today, Thursday, the 6th day of June, 2024. So share the live. This is even more reason for you today for you to share the live. And I must say that I'm pleasantly surprised at the number of students who turned up very early in the schoolyard. The program was scheduled just after 6 o'clock this morning, and immediately we had many students piling into the schoolyard, waiting for the school door to open. And once it was opened a little while ago, we have hundreds already on the live, just waiting to hear the information, and we're going to tell you about the information. In the notification for the program today, I said we're going to deal with the continuing road carnage on the roads of Guyana, or the continuing carnage on the roads of Guyana, and the obvious attempt by the police traffic department and the Guyana police force to falsify the records, I guess to make themselves look good. So we're going to go into all of that this morning. So share the live. This is the day that the Lord has made. We must rejoice and be glad in it. We must give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It's a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we must give praise and thanks to the Almighty for allowing us to be here. And only this morning, I got news. A matter of fact, a short while ago, I got news that two persons passed. Even Sunday, today is Thursday, even Sunday, I got news of one of my villagers, Ashley Glasgow, passed away. This morning, I got news that a cousin of mine passed away. And a little while ago, I got news again of a countryman of mine, DJ Donald John. Somebody just messaged me to tell me that Donald's son passed away, I think, this morning. So we have to give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. No one knows what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow is promised to no one. So yes, share the live. Give us the thumbs up as you come in. Again, you have been very tardy in that respect. So right now we have hundreds and hundreds of persons on the live, and I can only see about 15 thumbs up. You have to another thumbs up in the chat. Let me explain. When we talk about thumbs up, and people tell you give the thumbs up so that the algorithms can get into play, it's not the thumbs up in the comment, It's not in the comment. It's a thumbs up on the program itself. The thumbs up on the program itself. So not in the chat. Some people have been doing it in the chat. I suspect some of you are a little challenged, but you're gonna learn, and you're gonna go. You have to do it on the live itself. Give the thumbs up on the live and not in the comments. So let's do that. Yes, I see the numbers are mounting, and as some people would say, as soon as you come on, that should be one of the first things, or at least when it goes live, as soon as the program goes live, that should be one of the first things you should do. And we are going to do the usual thing. By now, we know the format. We're going to do the roll call. We're going to make some announcements. And then Mr. Conway, my colleague who's already in the studio, is going to come in, make his comments, and then we're going to go straight into the main issue. So share the live, share the live. We ran now for what? Just about 8 minutes, and I'm giving you the opportunity to share the live to let people know that we are on today. Many people are going to be caught unawares, but not to worry, because even if they're not on the live, I know they're going to go to YouTube and the Facebook page and be able to see what is going on, to hear what is going on. But I know a lot of people wanted in the live to make their comments and so on. Let me say about comments. I indicated to you that what happens at the end of the program, I will go through the comments to see issues raised and so on. It's not easy to be on the program live and then check comments at the same time. It can be distracting. And so therefore, many times, I will just wait until the program ends, or when Mr. Conway is on, I might take an opportunity to peep and see what is the comments. So yesterday, at the end of the program, I was going through the comments, and I saw a lot of people asked about the subject we discussed yesterday in relation to search. And we're going to address a part of it briefly, or not briefly, but we're going to address a part of it when we start. And then, a man actually came on the comment, I didn't see it, and he said, Slow talking about corruption. Slow used to there in front of BV police station and collecting money from people. Well, that can't be this slow. Can't be this far slow he talking about. But you have those people, the amphibians will come and they make all sort of comments. Well, let me say this. This is not them type of program. I am not one who don't encourage. I want people to comment. But when you're going to come with those spurious things, it's out, ban right away. I ain't got time with you on that. If you want to make some some intelligent comment, some object, fine. When a man come for the program, hey, slow, used to then be front of BV police station and collect bribe from people. Who we talking about? Who we talking about? People who know we know that is far, far, far from how Slow used to operate. Slow isn't like them. Slow never attempted to launder money and all those things like some of the senior ones are doing now, $60.5 million. No. And let me say this before I go on to do the roll call. Many, many years ago, when I was the traffic chief, Ronald Gadraj was the Minister of Home Affairs, right? And we know Gadraj was alleged to be involved in all kind of criminal activities, a lot of corrupt activities, the selling of gun license, the control of gun, death squad and all of that. We had a presentation at the police officers' mess, what they call the light barkers all. The police will know that. There's the upstairs to the southern part. And during the presentation by Gadraj said that someone had approached him to say that a senior police officer was involved in corrupt practices. That is Gadraj, the Minister of Home Affairs, telling this gathering that the senior officer, I think he did mention a senior person from traffic. Gadraj mentioned that. He did not mention the name. And when it was finished, when the presentation was finished, I approached him. We had a very good relationship at that time. I said, Minister, you got to let me know who this person is. Because if I'm the traffic chief and you have some corrupt traffic thing, I got to know so I can deal with them. Gadraj laughed. I said, Minister, no, I'm serious. You have to tell me who this person is. Who this person is making this allegation against you. I want to know who's making the allegation. I want to know who is the police officer. Gadraj watched me and Gadraj smiled. Gadraj said, the man said you. I said, me? The man said, yes. I said, well, what was your response? Gadraj said, I tell you, what I know about Slow will never get involved in something like that, and brushed him aside and chased you out the place. Gadraj, Minister Gadraj. So these people would just come and talk a lot of crap on the thing. You got time with them. But tell you these things to understand, for you to understand what is going on. So we got to do the roll call because then we got to move on. Now, in terms of the roll call, again this morning, this thing on the technology, I was here this morning preparing for the program, and I know I touched the button, and next thing you know, I hear Sagi Jarvis, our good friend Jarvis, get banned. I said, no, I got to try and reverse that. So I will try to reverse it sometime. And then 2 minutes at 10:58, the computer went blank. And they said that the system failed and they're going to try to reboot and so on. So the system failed and then it was rebooted. And in that process, let me tell you what happened in the rebooting process. The first 25 students who were in the schoolyard no longer appear in the chat. but I just make the note when the program starts. So the first person on this morning, I'm going to call him out, is the man from UK, Winston Arthur, came on at 6:22. Then we had Carlton Lewis, Tessa Miguel from Florida came on. Ulrich from Crane came on at 6:28. Clifton Stewart from Paris, he came on at 6:29. Derek Trotman, Sean Rabindranath came on at 6:33. And then we have Debbie Collins, Winston Kilkenny, Kenneth DeFloremont, Wayne Little from the UK, Joan Robertson, Princess Earl from Lamar Springs, she came on at 6:39. Then we have Ulrich Stevens, my squad mate from Barbados, who lives in Barbados now. He came on at 6:40. Then Evelyn Nelson, Mary Smith from Brooklyn came on at 6:43. Anthony Jarvis, Dennis Moore from Florida, Vibert Lawson in Brooklyn. Then we had Dexter McAllister. Then we had Vibert Smith, old detective Vibert Smith, came on at 6:49. Malcolm Robinson came next. Courtney Saul from New Jersey came next. Then we had Eric Como. Eric Comobaz is also from New Jersey. He came on at 7. Then we had Felicia Lewis. She also came on at 7. But all of those names are knocked off of the comment. And the first person appearing in the comment is, I'm going to put it up now, is Brian Saul. Then we had Howard Barlow. Dav came on next. Then after Dav, it was John. And then after John, we have Akko, Isabella. Let me scroll it through. Then Lucius came on next. Lucius came on at 7:11. Then Pamela from across the river came on the same time, followed by Floyd, followed by Gibbons, followed by Brennan. And these are people, Brennan is in Brooklyn. Then the man from Melanie Namashana, Francis Keith, came on next. He was closely followed by Rhonda, and this is Rhonda Chance, and followed by Patricia G. Patricia is from New Jersey. Out of the UK came next Clive. Clive Nestor came. He came in at 7:27. George came next. Then the man from the Hills came next, Barlett from the Hills in Linden. Then it was Marcia, followed by Monica. Monica was followed, and Monica says she's from Friendship on the east coast of Demerara. You get Friendship East Bank, also Friendship East Coast. And then Wayne came. Wayne was followed by Patricia, and this is Patricia Atterley. And then it was the man from Peters Hall, Anthony Bradshaw, 11033. And out of that, then we have Everett from Texas. And Everett was followed by TK, Terrence King from California, it's a 9135. Followed by Maureen, Fargus, Raul came in at 8:21. Then Jakey. Well, Raul and Jakey come on so close together. There's got to be some conspiracy by like a quarterly to come on around the same time. Then out of the UK, it was Oren, followed by Queenie, Cecile, Ezzy, and then it was Mandela Gandhi. Joseph came next after Mandela. Then we have Vernon, Inferno Boss. Lorraine Earl came in after Inferno. Then it was Carlisle Jacobs, followed by Desiree, Keelan. You see what tell you all a lot of people in the schoolyard. You see the evidence there. Barbara, Jean, and then after that, and she came out at 9:19. Morton, Steve. Oh, see, I see Stevens is here back here. I hope he's not blocked. I know something had happened and they said that he was blocked inadvertently. Let's hope that that's been resolved. If it is not, I'll start to fix it later. Sagi, let me know if you can still comment. Make a comment. Let me know if you can still comment. Danny came next, followed by Pito. Pito is from Queens. 8152 was his regulation number. Then it was Rastaman. Then we had Melville. And then we have Stephen. He was followed by Gordon, followed by George, Countryman George, followed by Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. Then Ingrid, and this is Ingrid Warrill. Then it was Chilo, Rich Forever. Chilo came in at 10:31. Sandra came next, followed by Glendis, followed by Sydney. And then who more we have? Then we have Godfrey, Corinne, Sean, and then we go on. All these are people before, the YouTubers, Henrik, Juliet. Then after that, we have Trevor says that he's from Connecticut. Then Sandrine came, followed by David, and David came in at 10:47. Then it was Dorrit. Dorrit came in at 10:48. Then this was the one and only Michael Brower came in next, followed by Lyndon, followed by another Saul, Grantley Saul. The Sauls are well represented. He was followed by Bert, followed by Annette. That was the last. Annette was the last person on YouTube before we went live. And when we went live on Facebook, we had Edward was the first person in. Edward was followed by Lennox, followed by Shelly the Rider, and then who else? Then we have Simone, Carlton is here as well. Then we have Bumi, Commissioner Cole, and many others came in. So I say that again to say to you that despite the fact that today is a Thursday and not a regular program day, right? We have so many people who were in the schoolyard waiting for the program to get started. So here we are. Let me get me notes to tell you about some of the announcements, and then we're gonna go into the program. Now, the first announcement that I want to make, thankfully we don't have any debt to announce, but some birthday greetings. Today I understand that today is the birth anniversary of retired woman sergeant. This was a sergeant when she retired, Elizabeth Soonish. If you remember, Soonish was a member of the police mounted branch. She was one of the few women. I remember she, Miss Moore, and then they had this girl, Binda, I think it was. They were females in the police mounted branch back in the day. Very capable horsewomen, I think I should say. So today's Elizabeth Borde. And then today, I understand from my Facebook notification, it's the birthday of retired woman Colonel Wendy Algernon. Wendy, very good friend of mine. Wendy is celebrating a birthday today. And we also have a birthday today of 2 or 3 members of the Facebook of the Speaking Out family. I refer to Doris McLennan. Doris is celebrating our birthday today. Also, Roger is a countryman. Roger Happy is celebrating his today. And then I understand it might be the birthday of a man who's on here now. Everett, if it's your birthday, let me know. Don't hide, and because you might got to buy drinks and all of that. Come up, man. Don't let me know that today is your birthday. I want to wish every single person that I just mentioned all the best on their natal day, and hope that the Lord will spare your life to see many more birthdays in good health and strength. So those are the birthday greetings. Quickly before we go on, cricket playing. Got a lot of cricket fans here, so therefore I always mention it. I see the ICC complaining that the stands are empty in the Caribbean. Now, what do they expect? They get cricket match playing with some teams that nobody know, in Guyana, for example, and some astronomical prices for tickets. So who can go? And then when you schedule a match to start 10:30 in a work day, who can afford to go to see cricket on those days? Apart from the price, the timing is not very convenient. And we know, or you might not know, but people in the cricket world know, that those timings are deliberately set to target the market in the subcontinent. So it's not about you in the Caribbean, it's about the broadcast going to the subcontinent at what they refer to as prime time. So that is why the matches are scheduled for those times. So they're complaining about the lack of spectators, which is gonna continue. Very few matches, perhaps later down, like for example Sunday when we get India and Pakistan in New York in a 34,000 seated capacity stadium. I expect it to be sold out. That match like that can sell out. Unfortunately, again, what we have had so far, the wickets have proven to be very substandard, and the commentators have said so. Very substandard. We just came out IPL where people chasing down 200 easily and believe, well, all right, that is enough. No, it has a lot to do with the wicket. It's the same batsmen, it's the same bowlers generally. But what you have, if you have poor wicket, ball bouncing and ball keeping low and all that, you can never get the type of matches that you really want, you really deserve. I mean, you're going to get some excitement, like in the match with Namibia and who it was, where they went down to Super Over. You're going to get one or two, but the consistency is not going to be there. I understand that the game for Sunday in New York, tickets are being sold for $3,000 per ticket, $3,000 per ticket for the game on Sunday. And you know the stadium is going to be sold out. There's no doubt about that. The stadium is going to be sold out. So I got to mention this little cricket thing before I bring in Mr. Conway. CC, let me bring you in. Morning, CC.
Good morning. And
I hope you had a good night.
Yeah, very, very good night. Very restful night. Although I went to bed sometime after midnight doing some work. But I'm happy that I'm still in the land of the living. And we are in the land of the living. And we're here to do God's work.
Yes, we are. We are. Now, as I indicated a while ago, yesterday we dealt with warrants. You know, following the Kidaki Amsterdam incident where he claimed that the police turned up and told him they had an arrest warrant for him. We explained to you how arrest warrants are issued. And he also said that the police claim that they had a search warrant which was not shown to him, which apparently it turned out to be false. They had no arrest warrant, nor did they have a search warrant. Now, as a result of those comments, on the comment yesterday, I saw some people asking us what happened to searching of car, because we talk about searching of people's homes where you have to get a warrant, the address you have to be there, you have to see the items that you are going to search for and all of that. So people ask the question, quite logical question. What happens when the police decide to stop your car and search your car? What happens when you are walking down the road peacefully and the police decide to stop and search you? So we said that at the beginning of the program this morning, we are going to address those two issues. So I'm going to ask Mr. Conway to address the issue about searching car, because the law is clear on it. And then we are going to deal with the other issue about stopping and searching people just like that. So CC, over to you in terms of how you go about to search cars.
Okay. Well, I always like to go to the authority. I like to go to the law because police must know where is your authority to do anything. And the Police Act section, chapter 16:01 and section 18 states, I'm going to read it. It shall be lawful for any member of the force, any member of the force may stop, search, and detain any aircraft, vessel, or vehicle in upon which there shall be a reason to suspect that anything stolen or unlawfully obtained, or that any person suspected of having committed an indictable offense may be found. Or he may also stop, search, and detain any person who may be reasonably suspected of having or conveying in any manner anything stolen or unlawfully obtained. That's section 18. And there are some operative words there. Anything stolen, suspect anything stolen or unlawfully obtained. Suspect that any person who have committed a felony or misdemeanor. I mean, felony is a serious crime, misdemeanor is a lesser crime, or anything reasonably suspect of having in any manner stolen or unlawfully obtained. People conveying things. But the thing is that you must have reasonable suspicion. That's the key. That you have to get reasonable suspicion for you to stop, search, and detain. And you're looking for things unlawfully obtained or stolen. Person there committed felony or misdemeanor, or if they convey anything in a manner that is stolen or unlawfully obtained. So that's the authority for you to stop, search, and obtain. But the thing is a reasonable suspicion. That's the important word. Reasonable suspicion. I think in the States they talk about probable cause, but we dealing with a reasonable suspicion. So you don't go in and search people or stop people while. And the suspicion, the reasonable suspicion must precede the search. And even when you go to court, there are certain things that they would ask you, what caused you to reasonably suspect that things are being things stolen or lawfully obtained uh, are being conveyed, or person who commit serious indictable summary or indictable crimes is being conveyed in that vehicle. What caused you to be to have that reasonable suspicion? That is the critical thing. And most times the police will sometimes they will lie, but sometimes the court don't accept it. Where they're saying acting on information received. I know they're using popular term now, is intelligence led, based on intelligence, them kind of thing. So that is the authority. But then again, it has to be read in conjunction with section, I mean, with section 16, and it talks of power to arrest without warrant. Section 16.1 says, it shall be lawful for any member of the force to arrest without warrant any person who commits in his view an offense punishable either upon indictment or upon summary conviction. B. Any person whom any other person charges with having committed a felony or misdemeanor. Or C. Any person whom any other person suspects of having committed a felony or misdemeanor. Or 2. Charges with having committed an offense punishable on summary conviction if such person is willing to accompany the member of the force affecting the arrest to the police station and to enter in the recognizance to prosecute such charge. D. Any person whom such member of the force finds disturbing the public peace. E. Any person whom he has good cause of having committed or being about to commit any felony, misdemeanor, or breach of the peace. F. Any person whom he finds between the hours 8 o'clock in the evening and 5 o'clock in the morning, lying or loitering in any highway, yard, or other place, and not able to give a satisfactory account of himself. So the thing is that when you make the arrest, it is critical, it is important that you search the person. After arrest, you need to search because you might find things relative to the charge. You might find evidence relative to an additional charge. It might prevent the prisoner from injuring himself, prevent the prisoner from injuring you, prevent the prisoner from damaging private or public property, and it could prevent the prisoner from escaping. So it's critical that you, after your arrest, that you search.
I see. I don't know if Mr. Conway got blackout, but I see that he came off suddenly. I might very well be a case where he has a power outage. So I am going to attempt to continue. Now, let me say this, because the question is always asked, what is with a reasonable cause? What is reasonable cause? And some time ago, when we addressed this issue, a young guy whom I know, used to be a police officer, claimed to say that that is something subjective. And I rebuked him. I said, no, it's not subjective. The reasonable cause where what you're talking about, it's a case where any reasonable person must basically come to the same conclusion. Let me give some examples. A vehicle driving down the road, a man driving within the speed limit, going about his way. You won't really have reasonable cause to stop that vehicle. But let's say a vehicle driving down the road, and then the vehicle run through a red light. The man is driving in a zigzag manner. Those will give you reasonable cause to stop the vehicle. Let's say you have a situation to where you see a vehicle and maybe two persons fighting in the vehicle. You see a vehicle without a license plate. that gives you reasonable cause to stop the vehicle, right? A vehicle stop at a traffic light and you see something like blood dripping out of the vehicle. You have reasonable cause to stop the vehicle. And any reasonable person will tell you, yes, that is cause for you to stop and to search the vehicle. And this matter was ventilated in the case of Navendra Singh versus the Attorney General, police. Navendra Singh is now a judge. We're the police. We had gone through that case before. Police stop him. And then they proceeded to Kaita Brigdam and Sochi. Well, they had no reasonable cause to stop, and the court ruled on that. And again, I say it is unfortunate that these things are not used, these case laws are not used during the training program at the police college, and they keep repeating the same mistakes. You have to have reasonable cause. And as Mr. Conway explained, the cause must exist or must be there before the search, because that is what will lead you to the search. You can't stop the vehicle without reasonable cause, and then you find something and say, well, that's the reason. You have no lawful authority to stop the vehicle in the first place. And again, I'm saying that these things, you should have these scenarios taught at the police college, taught in the, they don't have what we used to call instruction class and all of these things now. But these are the things that the young policemen in particular have to be taught. You're on the road, a man walking on the road peacefully. You decide you're going to stop and search you. What gives you cause to search him? In America, in New York in particular, years ago, it was very controversial to talk about stop and frisk. And it was ruled to be unconstitutional. Man going about his business, unless you have reasonable cause to stop him, you should not be stopping people willy-nilly. And we see that often in Guyana. The police just stop you, lean you up against a vehicle and search. And we say this not to say that the police shouldn't be doing work, but you got to do your work within the confines of the law. Because when you do these things, you turn the same people who you want to cooperate with you against you. Because when you're violating people's freedom like that, what you think gonna happen? What you think gonna happen? You think they're gonna cooperate with you? They're not gonna cooperate with you. So you said the thing can be counterproductive. Mr. Conway is back in now, so let me see if I get in him. See like you had blackout or what?
The computer just shut down, you know.
Well, it happened to me a while ago. I told you just before the program started. It happened. So, yeah. So you can, I don't know if you're ready to continue where you left off.
Yeah, I was saying that it is important that you search, because you might find what you're looking for. You might find things in addition to an additional charge. You prevent the person from escaping. You prevent the person from injuring you or injuring others. And I always like to talk a story, you know, that if you're searching, you search both the living and the dead. I always remember a story that happened in Kurupung, I think it was in the early 80s, where the men were doing some gold and diamond mining in the Kurupung Creek, and they found a hot spot. And they suspected that one of the workers had stolen some diamonds. And the general manager for the operation went in the camp, collect the boss man shotgun, and shot the person on the pontoon. He died on the spot. It was an early morning. And they reported to Kurupung police station. The ranks from Kurupung went there, visited the scene, saw the dead man. They saw the injury in his chest. And they took him to Kurupung police station in the morning. And they waited on transportation for the body to come to town to have a post-mortem examination. And was still about midday the next day, they had the body transported to town. And I remember Dr. Mutu, the pathologist, said he was going to do the post-mortem examination. And when they were doing the post-mortem examination, before they started it, they stripped up the man. And there in his underpants, in his bukto, was what we call with a kitty, with a whole set of great diamonds. In those days, people valued near about $1 million, and $1 million was plenty money them time. I think he used to pay $45 over aircraft fare from Kurupung to Ogle or the Timeri. And there was this kitty with a whole set of diamonds that's valued near $1 million. And Dr. Mutu said, hey, the police don't search anybody. I don't search anybody. I'm going to take these diamonds and carry it to Commissioner Ragabir and give him. Well, Commissioner Ragabir was a very serious commissioner, and anybody or they are afraid to approach Commissioner Ragabir to find out whether or not Dr. Mutu give him any diamond. So they hush up the story. And so it's important that you search about the dead and the living. And every police are poor grade and they crack. So God, we had this man all morning, all afternoon, all night under the station there. And we Sergeant man, we could have been rich people, we could have been rich people, and them so it's important. And then many times policemen you always talk about a famous case at Sparnham where they didn't search a man and they shot a police to death. So it's important that when you arrest people, you search them. And I said also, even the dead and all during the course of the investigation, you need to carry out search.
Yeah, so I think we addressed the issue of search. We addressed the issue yesterday of the arrest warrant. Arrest warrant. We addressed the search of homes yesterday. So we thought, based on the comment, that we are going to let you know how the vehicles, what authority the police have to stop vehicles and stop individuals to say that they are searching them. So we're going to move on. As I indicated in the notification yesterday afternoon, many of you would have seen it, is that we're going to deal with this continued carnage on the roads in Guyana. And I'm going to start off with a short video. A video there, about 2.5 minutes. So look at it, and then we're going to go in on the other side and discuss some issues.
In the untamed expanse of Guyana's thoroughfares, there exists a notorious entity traversing these roads, known ominously as the Pitbull bus. These buses are renowned for having the finest wraps in the Caribbean region and possibly the world. These vehicles exhibit a capacity far exceeding their designated limits. Regulations dictate a maximum occupancy of 16. Reports attest to these buses accommodating 30 to 32 individuals, pushing the boundaries of both legality and safety to their utmost extremities. Their motto, "Small up yourself," epitomizes their attitude. These conductors frequently indulge in imbibing beverages such as Banks or Guinness. Furthermore, they insist on collecting fares in advance.
Everybody pay me money now, because nobody could go home without me money.
Even before passengers have reached their intended destinations. Moreover, they persist in soliciting one more passenger despite the bus being already filled to capacity or having none at all, resorting to pulling and tugging at passengers to accommodate their demands within their bohemian environment. The drivers and conductors steering these unwieldy behemoths have earned a dubious reputation for their brazen defiance of authority, engaging in confrontations with law enforcement daily. For such actions, they face no fewer than 13 charges. These individuals are inclined to agitate and jostle the buses in order to expel the air pockets from their fuel tanks, ostensibly to create additional capacity. This practice stems from their suspicion that fuel attendants might defraud them. Tales abound of clandestine compartments concealed within these buses, harbouring a weapon of choice, the infamous cutlass. Positioned within close proximity to the driver's seat, these Grade A armaments stand poised for deployment at a moment's notice, capable of inflicting swift and decisive blows. The Pitbull bus looms large over the highways and byways of Guyana, a spectre of lawlessness and disorder that brazenly defies the norms of civil society.
Yeah, that was a video which tells you of some of the craziness that goes on in the road in Guyana. Well, we have a lot to unpack on this traffic situation. And let me start off by saying that one of the problems that we have in Guyana is the problem where the police, traffic department, the police force as a whole, they are in denial. They are in denial. Why do I say that? Let me read a release yesterday carried in Newsroom. I know Newsroom is one of the PPP mouthpiece. They one of the mouthpieces. They give them all kind of releases. These are the ones who carry release of caution statement and other evidence. These are given to newsroom. So yesterday, newsroom carried an article, and the headline is "Road Death Now at 42 for the Year. Traffic Chief Warns Against Callous Use of Roads." That's the headline. And here what it says: 42 persons have been killed on the country's roads so far this year. And the traffic chief, Senior Superintendent Mahendra Singh, is urging road users not to be callous in the way in which they use the road. And he's quoted here saying, "Some persons think that when they are crossing a major roadway or thoroughfare, like it is someplace remote, you could just walk across without the fear of anything coming to strike you." End of quote. Singh said in an interview with the Department of Public Information. The traffic chief explained that some serious accidents were preventable and could have been avoided if persons paid more attention to road safety, especially pedestrians. Despite efforts from the Traffic Education Department, including police engagement with and community relations activities, people continue to use the road carelessly. And then it goes on to say here, we continue to enforce, we continue the enforcement of, that's what I'm saying here, we continue the enforcement of education. We continue to engage the Ministry of Public Works and every other stakeholder to ensure that as far as possible, road signage is supported by road markings and or lighting infrastructure to generally enable the road using population to use it with good visibility, proper surface, and so on. End of quote. The traffic chief urged the public to be mindful of the development taking place and the large volume of vehicles now on the roadways. The number of road deaths so far this year represents a reduction when compared to the same period last year, where there were 52 road deaths. Overall, there are 47 fewer road accidents compared to last year. When I read this thing, I want to know which universe I am in, or which universe the traffic chief is in. And let me say that, because let me go on right away to tell you, this is the police release, a previous release in April the 2nd. It said 13 road deaths reported in March 2024, bringing the yearly total to 44. In March, they're saying 13 in March, bring it to 44. The traffic chief reported yesterday, according to a newsroom, that there were 42 road deaths in Guyana for the year so far. Friends, students, for May alone, May this year, there were at least 22 fatalities. People died. We have to about accidents, 22 fatalities. I have the names and all of that. I'm gonna run it through shortly, because you gotta debunk these lies. You gotta debunk these lies. Let me tell you of some of the deaths in May of this year. On the 4th of May, it was reported that this occurred on the 4th of May. If you recall, they said a CID rank arrested after hit-and-run accident at farm on the east bank of the Marar. That is May 1. Then on May 4th, motorcyclist in number 5 road collision succumbs. On May 9th, minibus driver killed in collision at Orenstein Public Road. May 11th, unidentified man dies after being hit by police constable's car. May 12th, Bukanji motorcyclist dies after slamming into donkey. May 12th, 6 die in horrific accident along Linden Suzac Highway. May 17th, e-bike rider dies after being hit on the Eccles Public Road. May 19th, again, police investigating fatal accident at Enmore Public Road. May 21, motorcyclist dies after hit by truck at LBI. May 21, motorcyclist died after collision at Liverpool Public Road. That is on the quarantine. May 23, Tocqueville man dies on East Coast Demerara smash up, or in East Coast Demerara smash up. May 25, minibus driver dies at Grove Public Road collision. Then we have May 29, Ilfoot man dies after car truck collision. Then you have May 29th again, Toddler dies after hit by shards of glass following accident. May 31, biker dies in Lusignan accident. And for that's May. We're talking about 22 deaths there in May 2024. And yesterday, June the 5th, the traffic chief telling us that there were only 42 deaths. And all the months, I have the record, all the months you had accidents. And let me say for this month so far, we were able to, well, I have a note that they have been 2. We're talking about pedestrian killed at Vidanook accident. And then we have the sergeant of police who died, Sergeant Brummel, who died on the 4th of June, I think it is. And then there's another one for June where they say a driver flees the scene of a after fatally striking a pedestrian at Port Moran public road. So I don't know what they are trying to prove. Well, let me play this other one before I bring in Mr. Conway. We're going to discuss this even further. I think this is it. Let me see. Right. So this is a news item from News Source. Listen to it carefully.
"25-year-old police sergeant Ronaldo Brummel lost his life on Saturday in a motor vehicle accident at Montrose on the east coast of Demerara. A police statement indicated that he was riding his motorcycle at around 12:30 on Saturday morning along the Montrose public road when a white motor car that was being driven in front of him made a sudden U-turn on the roadway and collided with the off-duty policeman. The car was being driven by 27-year-old Montrose resident Ravin Singh, who it is believed was under the influence of alcohol at the time. As a result of the impact of the collision, the policeman was pitched onto the roadway, where he received multiple injuries to his head and body. He was taken to the Georgetown Hospital eventually, where doctors pronounced him dead on arrival. The driver was arrested by the police as the investigations continue. The police sergeant Brummel was based at traffic headquarters, but was attached to the police commissioner's office at the time of his death. Traffic Chief Mahendra Singh, during a program on 94.1 on Saturday, told host Stan Govaya that persons need to be much more careful on the country's roadways.
Apart from me and us, the police, having a role to play, you have a role to play. Brummel didn't deserve to die the way he did last night. And here it is, we had a driver telling us very nicely, oh, I only had a few beers. Man, I think the police run soft last night. Somebody would have get some touch-up. Forgive me. I know it's a good Saturday. I am God fearing like you, but a little feelings must run the way. You can understand as a guy, and he's how one would feel when you lose your own to.
More than 95 lives have been lost on Guyana's roadways since the start of this year.
Who do we believe? Gordon Mosley or the traffic chief? Gordon Mosley just said more than 95 persons have lost their lives on the road this year. And the traffic chief said yesterday, Wednesday, the 5th of June 2024, that so far this year, we have only had 42 fatalities, 42 persons died on the roads in Guyana. And let me read, before I start going to bring him as a comment, but let me read this here too, before I bring him in. This is May 16th. This is a report. I think it was Guyana Times. I can't be sure. May 16th. It says Guyana records decline in fatal accidents. That's what the police is reported to have said. And here what it says. In 2024, Guyana has witnessed a decline in both fatal accidents and resultant deaths, according to recent data released by the Guyana Police Force. The police Public Relations Officer, Mark Ramatar, conveyed this information to journalists on Wednesday. According to the data release, between January 1 and May 14, 2024, there were 78 reported fatal accidents and incidents, marking a decrease from the 84 incidents recorded during the same period in 2023. Correspondingly, the number of fatalities resulted from these accidents has also decreased, with 91 fatalities reported in 2024 compared to 95 in 2023. These statistics indicate an improvement in road safety nationwide, reflecting collaborative efforts among various stakeholders, including the Ghana Police Force, to mitigate road traffic accidents and promote public awareness of safety protocols. However, the statistics comes one day after 6 persons died in the head-on collision on Long Creek, Linden Suzaik Highway. Earlier this year, President Dr. Irfan Ali pledged to address the issue of traffic deaths on Guyana's roads through comprehensive road safety and traffic management strategies. He emphasized the need for a national dialogue on this matter, leading to the implementation of new laws, regulations, and technological intervention to curb road accidents. Despite previous legislative efforts, such as tightening laws regarding alcohol consumption by motorists in 2022, challenges persist. Instances of traffic law violations, particularly by motorcyclists, remain a concern for police commanders across all administrative regions. Additionally, enforcement of law against drunk driving faces obstacles, as evidenced by the substantial number of driving under the influence cases recently reported by the Ghana Police Force. A month ago, the Ghana Police Force reported 41,358 cases of driving under the influence of alcohol were made out against errant drivers between January 1 and April 22, 2024. Of this number, 449 were brought before the courts, with the police securing 153 convictions. Pedestrians in certain areas, notably Georgetown, encountered difficulties accessing pavement due to vehicle obstruction or occupation by vendors. Non-functional traffic lights and speeding minibuses have also posed further hazards, impacting commuter safety. Addressing these challenges, the Ghana Police Force has launched a multifaceted approach encompassing stringent enforcement of existing law, public education campaigns, and swift legal processes for traffic violators. I have a lot more that I want to say, but let me bring in Mr. Conway and then I'll come back. CC, the traffic chief is reporting that you had 42 fatalities, or 4 persons died on the road for this year. Gordon Mosley in his newscast say 95 persons have died. And so who do we believe? Help me unpack that, man.
Well, I won't be diplomatic, All I say is that the traffic chief is lying to the nation. Lie. Perhaps he get problem with figures, Remember, man, it's again, the Ghana is 83 square miles, so the zero and get no value. Or a man is again, the population is 750, so maybe taking the pattern half of them. And then remember, 214 million there by long to think 3 or 4 million. But when you live in the 54th state, a state of denial. I remember the O.J. Simpson trial when Johnny Cochran said this witness is in the 54th state, a state of denial. The judge didn't understand it. And then he said, yeah, if there's 50 states in the United States of America and Puerto Rico applied to be the 54th state and was denied. So if they're denying things, they're not looking at the facts, they're not looking at the figures. How when they've named they're going to solve the crime? You got to take the bull by its horn. Take the bull by its horn and deal with it. So why they ducking the figures? To look good? Things are happening. And I've been listening to the traffic chief on numerous occasions, and all he talking is when the public domain, what is happening on roads, but he ain't coming up with solutions. He not saying definitely what must be done to correct the situation. Ali the talking the persons who are abusing the use of the road, but he's not coming up with anything. Imagine over 41,000 persons get charged and only 449 conviction. What was really going on? Is it that the magistrates and trial matters? Is it that the police not putting the cases before the magistrate? That what happened with the enforcement arm? And then if you're gonna lie, buddy, you can't solve nothing. It's gonna come on and then it's gonna impact on you and thing. And they're not doing anything to create an impact to reduce the lawlessness that is going on. And I will talk a little more, but let me stop here.
Well, yeah, but look, I put up something here. One of the students is saying is that today, Guyana Times today is reporting that 97 persons died on the roads thus far for 2024. That is what Guyana Times, another PPP mouthpiece. So where is it that they're misquoting the traffic chief when they say that he said newsroom is quoting him as saying this is yesterday. Road deaths now stand at 42 for the year. That is what traffic chief said yesterday in newsroom. So maybe the Mark Ramatar and then will come to clarify that. But I know from the records, it is far more than 42 and more likely to be around the 97 or the 95 that Gordon Mosley spoke of. Because in May alone for this year, I think May must have been the deadliest month in terms of road accident. 22, at least 22 by my count, died on the roads of Guyana. And for this month, June, we are in the 6th day, and we have 3 deaths, including the police sergeant. Now, the next thing that I want to say on that, and Mr. Conway is right. Imagine they're celebrating, according to them, the statistics indicate an improvement in road safety nationwide, reflecting collaborative efforts among various stakeholders, including the Guyana Police Force, to mitigate road traffic accidents and promote public awareness of safety and protocol. So in other words, what they conveying the impression, if the thing has improved, then perhaps there's no need to do anything more because it is improving. And again, all this is because they are in that state that Mr. Conway spoke of, the state of denial. And why would they want to be in that state? You know why they want to be in that state? I am of the view that the reason why they want to be in that state is because people still see this traffic problem as a police problem. And I say again, over and over, I've been saying this. The situation has gotten to the stage in Guyana where it's no longer a police problem. Police are responsible for the enforcement aspect. When you come with engineering, when you come with all the new laws and all, there's not a police issue. Police might be able to participate and make recommendations, but police should not be involved in engineering. We made recommendations as to how this matter should be handled before. And I'm not going to repeat all of them. They can go back on YouTube and see some of the recommendations made. I am saying, and this is worth repeating, that one of the first things they have to do is to recognize that this is a national crisis. President came out on his New Year's Day address, and according to what they quoted today, to say, the president said, let me read what they say, Earlier this year, they talked about in the New Year message. Earlier this year, President Irfan Ali pledged to address the issue of traffic accidents on Guyana's road through comprehensive road safety and traffic management strategies. He emphasized the need for a national dialogue on this matter, leading to the implementation of new laws, regulations, and technological intervention to curb road accidents. January 1, New Year's Day, the president made that commitment. Up to now, I don't know. Perhaps it has taken place. I don't know that this dialogue, this national dialogue that he's talking about, was held. They're tweaking the law here and they're tweaking the law there, but I believe, and I have said it before too, that this requires a comprehensive review of the whole process, beginning from the vehicles that are coming into the country, tires that are being used, the certification of motor vehicles, what qualifies a person to drive the various categories of vehicles. And I made it clear the police should no longer be involved in that process of certifying persons as competent to drive, or certifying vehicles as being fit for the operating on the road. They have to have a proper comprehensive strategy. And the sad part of these things, this is not reinventing the wheel, There are systems in even neighboring CARICOM countries where these things are removed, from, like license of driver and certification of vehicle. That's not a police responsibility. And two, the police talk about education. Education is not a policing responsibility. And let me show you the slide. When they talk about education, what was part of the education? Look at this. This is part of the education. This is part of the police lecture. Some little picnic, to put it bluntly, some little picnic that now the traffic rank gone to these schools and said they're doing lectures. That is considered a traffic lecture. They stop at the road corner, they talk to two drivers and so on, and it is considered a traffic lecture. And that is part of the problem. Why should the police have to go to schools? There's not a Ministry of Education. What is the Priya Manikchan doing? What is Priya Manikchan doing as the Minister of Education? If you talk about education, you got to be, the Ministry of Education must have an involvement. If you're talking about engineering, then Wane Jill, the man that the place there, whatever the ministry is, he had to be involved. And of course, they get a missing in action Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson. He's silent. You hear anything from him? There's supposed to be a National Road Safety Council. I don't know if they still exist. All of these things, even the private sector, everyone should come out. We have said on this program too, I don't know if they have a traffic magistrate to deal with traffic matters. So when the police tell you they made 41,358 cases of driving under the influence. Imagine that, 41,358 cases of driving under the influence. Of that number, they're telling you, of this number, 449 were brought before the courts. And of the 449, the police secured 153 convictions. So why, when you hear them type of figures that they are producing, one wonders, there's no wonder that you're in the mess that you're in, with people dying like flies on the road. Because the people are out of their depths. Home Affairs Minister Ben, Acting Commissioner, the Extended Squad Ikin, the Traffic Chief, Mahendra Singh, they don't have a clue. The President and all of these people, they don't have a clue. The whole cabinet, they don't have a clue what is going on. This should be a national emergency. Even this morning, some videos circulating, more accidents again. I hope that nobody died from the one that was circulating, the car and the truck. But these things happen with alarming frequency, and they're not addressing it in the manner it ought to be addressed. You're tweaking the law here, you're tweaking the law here. You see, we have said before, this tweaking ain't gonna work. Tweaking will not work. And you know, interestingly, follow up on the Gordon Mosley thing with the sergeant who died, Sergeant Brummel, struck and killed. The police said that the man claimed to have had a few beers. Now, what is a few beers? Interestingly, the police corporate propaganda unit did not say if a breathalyzer test was administered to this man. They did not say. So you don't know if he was above the legal limit. All the man tell them, and the traffic chief commenting on that, man said he had a few beers. So they didn't test him. Wonder why they did not test him. Was it because he didn't look like me? That did not test him. And more than that, given the tweak to the law, which I think it was 2022, which makes the offense of motor manslaughter, would you charge this driver if he was above the legal limit for motor manslaughter? For the death of Sergeant Brummel? Would you charge him for that? You know, and I believe the fact that they did not tell you whether the man was breathalyzed and what was the result of the breathalyzer test if it was administered, it's an they have ulterior motive. So you're going to hear the man charged, if at all, with causing death, not motor manslaughter, because my information is that the one charge of motor manslaughter that was instituted when the police woman was killed in front of BV police station some time ago, the only charge of motor manslaughter that we know of. I understand that at some subsequent hearing, the regular causing death by dangerous driving charge was substituted instead. That is the information I got. Can't say how accurate it is. So maybe they would want to come and to say what exactly happened in that case. But that is it. And then the part that amused me is that the traffic chief, Senior Superintendent Mahendra Singh, on account of the news item, he's on 94.1 FM, a station that is broadcast widely. The man said that the police gets off. The driver should have get touch up. Wonder what he mean by touch up. Does he mean that they should have sent him by the Volkswagenist to be taken care of? Wonder what he mean by touch up. Or did he mean that they should send him by the West End at in police compound there? Forget touch up. What type of touch up he talking about? This is the traffic chief. The traffic chief. What message is he sending? The police get served. The man should get touch up. That is what the traffic chief. How more unprofessional these people can be. But he was put there. He was put there. He was put there for perhaps the same thing. Remember Stevens was there? Superintendent Stevens was there. They had some debts, as they have had all the time. They moved Stevens and they brought Mahendra Singh as traffic chief. They had identified Ramana first. And for some reason, Ramana got it. He went to East Coast and then he now at Grove on the East Bank. Akin, the acting commissioner, the extended squatter, called a meeting and he transferred all the traffic heads from all over the place. And he instructed that police should line the road to prevent speeding. That is what, look, these things are not joke, you know. That is the action to be taken. In addition to that, they spent a whole set of money to create a big billboard. A big billboard. Let me even get it here. A big billboard they created to have the man's picture plastered on a billboard. That is the, I'm too sure if I get it. Let me make a quick check to see if I get it to show y'all what we're talking about. I have it somewhere. Here it is. Look. This is what respect the road. A big billboard. That is what how bereft of ideas these people are. A big billboard, a big ugly billboard they put up there. Respect the road, slow down. And I asked the question then, and I'm asking it again. How can this impact on safety on the road? I noted, I understand that it has been removed. Eventually, it was removed. But it just goes to show that people don't have an idea as to how to handle this thing. And again, before I begin, Mr. Conway, let me say, this matter now has gone beyond what the police can do. This is not about policing any longer. It has gone there long now. Not police, the enforcement. Yeah, they might be lax in the enforcement. Yeah, you have the big elephant in the room, corruption, that no one wants to talk about. But outside of all of that, this thing has to be addressed in a very comprehensive manner at the government level, not at the police divisional level and so on. You get police going to school to talk to some preschool children about road. I assume they talk to them about road safety. It goes to show that they don't have a clue how to deal with this matter. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then I have some report. Let me bring in Mr. Conway first. Cece, let me hear your comment, man.
Like you know, I'm shocked to hear the traffic chief saying that the police runs off and indicating that the man should get touched up. Is he preaching violence? And then you want to know based on what's happening, is that as a cyber crime? And then look what the figures are put in. 41,000 cases. That doesn't mean to say that the police are efficient and effective. 41,000 cases. Did it have any effect? Did it have any impact on the traffic situation in the country? None whatsoever. What the police doing there? They're concentrating on the fruits instead of looking at the root causes of the madness that is going on. So you pick the fruits, another fruit's gonna appear. But if you chop the main root, if you sever the main root, the tree will lie. And it calls for, we say over and over again, a holistic approach towards the madness. A holistic approach. I say over and over that it got to be data driven, but they're cocking the data. So if they're cocking the data, they can, the analysis that they might want to do would be flawed. But proper analysis has got to be done. And said over and over, and based on the analysis, you utilize your human and other resources to deal with the reality. And reality is what is happening. Now what you expect for happen, deal with the reality. You must have a database to give you a real-time situation what was going on. Somebody can create a platform Send the information to database and you do proper analysis, like date, the days when the accidents are prevalent, the time, the drivers who are involved, and a whole lot of variances that you'll have to deal with the situation. The data telling you something. And when you get the data, you use your technical skills, you use your administrative skills. Well, I think they get administrative skills. You use your conceptual skills and you deal with what I call people skill to deal with the situation. Years ago, the technical skill used to be the most important, but now and in the future, the people skills more important than anything else. That this thing is a holistic approach. And not only the crime chief, the traffic chief, the divisional commanders got to get involved. They got to get actively involved. Stop the ordinary police and ask you when last you made a traffic case. And you're gonna get a blank look. And the jaguar in the room, the corruption, the 6C, the corruption. Persons are getting their driver license not by the normal means. The corruption is there. And what they're doing at those practical tests, I can't remember ever seeing, and I watch around any of those big trucks between sticks. Person come to get a license for a lorry, and you get a canter, and you go between. But walk me, and then that also qualifies you to drive those big trucks. When last you see a certifying officer and one of the men who behind the wheels of those big trucks. Persons getting their driver's license too easily, and got to be one of the main concentration on the corruption. Few practical tests are being done, and when you go to GRA full up with people who get the competence, because after you do the practical test, they give you a certificate of competence, and you carry to GRA, and you get your driver's license. And then if the theory too, they take it away from cops and faith, they take it away from them churchmen, and they hand it over to Zaro. Like if Zaro, they are paragons of virtue. Nobody don't know checks and balances with Zaro in relation to the theoretical test. Nobody whatsoever. No anti-corruption operations. No integrity testing is being done. They just left it to them so people would easily get something shiny that they have passed the theoretical test. And they left it to Zaro and Zaro alone, because Zaro built the computer centers across the country, and they are paragons of virtue. Attack the corruption. I've never heard one day the traffic chief mention anything about corruption. Not a single word about corruption. The jaguar, they in the room. The corruption, they're down there. And people are getting driver's license too easily. People who can't drive, people who never sit down behind a wheel, get driver's license. My research, and I said it before, indicate that those persons who have driving school or who training people to be drivers, they said 90%, over 90% of those persons who come to learn to drive, and it's good that they go to learn to drive, but they already get a driver license. It needs a holistic approach. Not only the traffic, the general duties, the commanders in the division has got to be actively involved. And don't do like what Western Mara do. The deadliest roads in this country. The division with the most fatal accidents last year. And lo and behold, the traffic chief for West Demerara or Region 3 get runner-up prize for the best cop. So they're promoting incompetence, and the madness on our roads will continue unless we have an holistic approach towards it, unless we deal with the root causes of the accident, chop the main root, Don't just be picking the fruits. Picking the fruits, other fruits will grow back.
Yeah, but you know, the funny thing, the traffic chief himself some time ago escaped death on the East Bank, you know. You remember the incident some time ago? I think that I saw something where the driver was charged. The traffic chief himself experienced that, where a truck nearly right he off. And this thing is about leadership, you know. There is no leadership at the level, at the government level, at the minister's level, at the commissioner level. Leaderless. And once you have no leadership, you have no people with vision, then you're going to have these problems. And you know, you made an interesting point about commanders. And let me blow me on the trumpet. People who on this program who know can come in and say, when I was the commander, Ulrich is here, of West Demerara, by Force Command, West Demerara, I drive into work in the mornings in particular, or coming from work, because I lived in Georgetown and my office was at Lenora. I drove at the speed limit and no driver, well, if they pass, it's court, they're going to get charged. Because I had the radio set, I will call ahead and they were pulled in. It got to the stage where people will tell you that once I used to get a little fun off of it because I'm driving and no one is passing me because I'm at the speed limit. And then when I look back in the mirror, every now and again you will see a vehicle licking coming through, overtaking the whole line of traffic. And when they recognize that it was a commander in front, in my own private vehicle, they would all duck in and drive at the speed limit. When I was Commander Borby, it's the same thing. When I had to come down to town for meeting, and I came across on the boat as a commander, you get a little privilege, you go on the gangway, so you came out first. And I driving coming out. Vehicles dare not speed past me. They were going to be pulled in and dealt with. On one occasion, a certain magistrate who lived on the quarantine and worked in town sped past. And when he got to Wildart police station there, he was pulled in. And when I reached there, I rebuked him strongly. Strongly, I rebuked him. So I started blowing my own trumpet, right? Because people who know will tell you that when Slow was a commander, all this nonsense never used to happen. I used to provide leadership. And of course, when you do that, everybody will follow your lead. Another example, West Demerara, Lenora. I used to call on the traffic people. Scott was the traffic man there. Say, look, every night I see a whole set of vehicles passing without light and all. Yeah, I got to deal with this thing. Deal with it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're going to deal. They're going to deal, and so on. And I decided I'm going to lead the thing myself. So one evening, I went out on the road in front of the police station myself and started with my torchlight and the lights and so on, set up and started to deal with vehicles without light. And you know, the usual thing, they will come and they will say that, oh, the light just blew. And so I said, all right, pull in the corner, fix it. And once you fix it, you can go. If you get it fixed before we come off the road, you're going to go. And I could tell you, Josiah, God rest the dead, he was a sergeant at Leonora. In a jiffy, you get ranks mobilized and we were dealing with the matter like that. When I became traffic chief, one of the same thing without light on the East Coast. And I went to, on the East Coast, myself with ransom traffic headquarters to deal with the thing. And a man who became a very senior man in the judiciary was one of the persons pulled in and dealt with. He wasn't charged, but he was rebuked strongly. But you have a lot of policemen, senior people now. Ask any one of these police officers to get in charge of division or anything. If they ever made a case, dangerous driving or any similar case, to go to court. Ask them. I went to court frequently. As a matter of fact, when I was in Georgetown, the traffic magistrate Fitzgerald Law would put all the cases where I was the complainant together. So I will go to court, go in, give evidence in one, give evidence in the next one, right off the bat. We spend the morning in court and give evidence. And invariably what happens, from the time you give evidence in 1, 2, the others will change the plea to guilty, because many times in these cases, they plead guilty because they believe you as a traffic chief or you as a commander are not going to come to court to give the evidence. But I did so all the time. Once I was told I was required to go to court, I went to court. It requires leadership. It requires leadership from the Minister of Home Affairs. It requires leadership from the extended squatter. And coming back to this Brummel death, sad as it is, and again, condolences to the relatives and friends of the deceased sergeant. With all that is going on, 90-something deaths for the year and a half yet. 90-something deaths, despite what the traffic chief is saying, right? You have the Sergeant Brummel who died last week, Saturday morning. Hear what the newscast says? He's stationed at traffic headquarters, Ivlery, but he's attached to the commissioner's registry. There it is. He's stationed at the traffic headquarters. A sergeant of police is stationed at traffic headquarters, but he's attached to the commissioner's registry. And I made my inquiries. What would a traffic sergeant be doing at the commissioner's registry, Ivlery? Sir, he's an outrider to the commissioner. So when the commissioner goes anyway, he is the outrider. Commissioner vehicle get siren and all that, but you have to have an outrider in the form of a sergeant from traffic headquarters. That is what you have. That is what you have. So what do you expect? What do you expect? As I've said, look, the tinkering. Things like the old traffic ticket system needs to be looked at. We talk about issuing 41,358 cases of drunk driving. I guess it's traffic ticket. I don't know what form. But unless you correct that system, you're not going to make any headway, because my understanding is I have never been issued with a ticket. Now, not because I am who I am, because I follow the law. Trust me. Who people know you will tell you. I drive within the speed limit. I have Bluetooth in my phone, so I don't have to use phones when I'm calling. Sometimes I would pull over if you want to send a text or something. Pull over and deal with it. I believe in doing the right thing. I believe in setting examples, right? So you have to have the proper traffic ticket system. We see again, a person being issued with a traffic ticket. Traffic ticket is a conditional summons. Understand it clearly, young brands. A traffic ticket is a conditional summons. It is accusing you of committing a particular act. The traffic ticket ought to tell you at the same time, it's there that if you acknowledge that you committed the act, you can go to the clerk of the court and pay the fine. If you decide to contest, the traffic ticket should tell you what date you must appear and what court to contest the matter. It's a whole system. So when the people go back into the station now, they have to make sure that the records are there. First of all, you have to know whether the man paid it or not. You have to know whether the traffic ticket was paid. And if it was not paid, then you have to make sure that the copies goes into the ministerial jacket so the case can be called and the person can appear and contest the ticket. Or in the absence of the person, the magistrate can proceed to do a ex parte trial and find the person guilty and issue warrants and all of that. But the system is not working. You have to have the system. The system has to work. So a man commits himself on a secure course or in the quarantine court, one system. So if he's held in Georgetown, you know, well, he's the same person and all of that. But they're spending money on all kind of things. And despite all that is going on in the road, they don't see the need to have that. They're talking about legislation. There is no legislation in Guyana dealing with driving school or what qualifies a person to be a driving instructor. Anybody who wants to get into the business can put up a signboard and say, yeah, I have a driving school and I'm a driving instructor. All of those things are important. That is why we say you have to have a comprehensive review. The merits point system, they're talking about it all the time. There's no demerit point system. So every offense is nothing is adding up. Nothing is adding up. So the records will show, well, this man is a repeat offender and the magistrate can take the appropriate action. Suspension of driver's license, revocation of driver's license. When last year about those things? And even when you hear them one and far, what is the frequency to send a message that this nonsense must stop? You don't have that. You don't have that. What you have to do all of these things. And the Road Safety Association, well, I don't expect anything from Rosenberg, the Minister of Home Affairs. Trust me. I write he have. Don't expect anything from him. He has proven to be incompetent. I don't expect anything from the extended squatter. It can the acting commissioner. He has proven to be in a situation way beyond his competence and capability. I don't expect anything from that. I didn't expect anything either from the traffic chief. Because when the traffic chief can tell people police run south, they should get touched up. And I like the traffic chief, I ain't only blaming him. He didn't put himself there. Is they put him in? They decided he must go there. I suspect it's part of this whole Indianization of the command of the police force, put him as traffic chief. And if you're going to, as you did, remove Stevens because of what was going on in the road, well, given what's going on now, too, you got to move Mahendra Singh. But I'm saying that the removal of traffic chiefs, whether it's Stevens or Singh or whoever, that is not the solution to the problem. You're blaming them. I remember when I took over traffic, I became the traffic chief. Larry Lewis had a confrontation, I must call it, with the traffic chief then. Ronald Stewart, he's still around, he's still alive. You have to go and find out. And Stewart told the commissioner, sir, you behaving like if it's I killing the people on the road. It's not me killing them. I am doing all that I can do. And people are still dying on the road. So for us, they're doing all they can do. And Stewart told the commissioner that. And then commissioner said, well, then they appointed me as the traffic chief. And for those amphibians who here and talking a lot of crap, ask people who are around. When Slow was traffic chief in the 90s, if all this nonsense used to go on the road. After a few mornings, I used to be on the road almost every day in person. Even the other day, I was walking by Stabrook Market a few months back, and a driver called me off. Oh, you know, Skipper? I said there. And he watched and he pointed around at all the confusion. And so I said, in new days, nothing like this could happen. I said, well, you know, I smile. I said, but times changed, my brother. Man told me that. He said, in your day, nothing like this could have happened. A friend, a senior officer friend of mine, whose wife used to work at the GNCB, the bank there, he tell me, he said, man, I shame. I said, what happened? He said, your wife tell you, look, there's no other officer election. He said, when they go to work in the morning, by looking at how the park operate, they can tell whether Slow was around here or not. Because they claim that once I pass around, the effect of my being there lasts for hours. So when these people now come and talk a lot of crap and think, you just got to let them know. You got to correct these statements. You can't let them go uncorrected. Right? You cannot. You have to correct these statements. So I'm saying, and before I bring in Mr. Conway, and we can close off on this matter, I'm saying again that the problem on the roads, the carnage on the road, it requires a comprehensive. The president said so, you know. President said so. The unfortunate thing is that he didn't do nothing. He said, the president said, he pledged to address the issue, the issue of traffic accidents and guidance road through comprehensive road safety and traffic management strategies. He emphasized the need for a national dialogue on this matter, leading to implementation of new laws, regulation, and technological intervention to curb road accidents. He said so. The only thing that he had said in the release, the New Year's message, he said he's gonna do so shortly. But the year almost gone halfway, and people dying like flies, and I don't know that anything has been done in terms of this comprehensive traffic management strategy he's talking about. It requires a national conversation. So don't tell me, as Singh did, the traffic chief, oh, all of we. Yes, all of us should be involved, but you have to have leadership. You have to have leadership. You can't expect John Jones to just come so and decide that he is going to put this matter to the forefront of the consciousness of the nation. You have to have leadership at the governmental level, at all levels, the ministerial level, the force level, the traffic level. You have to have this leadership. And as Mr. Conway said, one of the first things you have to address is the jaguar in the room. Corruption. No use to bury your head like the proverbial ostrich and say that it's not there. It is there. The evidence is there to support that contention, that the system has become very, very corrupt. You have cases where sergeant from traffic headquarters involving driver's license racket charged and put before the court. Several persons, people from GRA, the revenue authority charge and put the code. It's not me talking because you want to talk. The evidence is there, and it requires the necessary commitment, political and other commitment, to make sure that this matter is addressed. Because what's going to happen, you're going to have a lull maybe for a couple of days or perhaps even weeks, and then it go right back because the system is still bad. The system is still corrupt. And once the system is corrupt, these incidents are going to continue to happen. What you're having here with the deaths on the road is just a manifestation of the corrupt system. The accidents and the deaths on the road tell you of the problem in the system. It tells you there is a problem in the system. Unfortunately, nobody wants to address the problem. Maybe because they might be exposed. Maybe the reason why they don't want to address the system is because they might be exposed. If a comprehensive review, audit is done of the system, they might be exposed. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we are going to move on. CC, what more you want to say on this subject, my brother?
You made an interesting point, about ex parte trial. It might be interesting to note when last a magistrate had an ex parte trial in relation to tickets. They're issuing thousands and thousands of tickets, but they're not seeing this thing to finality, because when there is an ex parte trial, if the person is found guilty, he's being fined, and if he doesn't pay the fine, the warrant is issued for him. But there's nothing getting to finality. So the fear is supposed to be the key, but the fear isn't there. You give a man a ticket, he fold it up and throw it away, because this ain't coming to end. This ain't coming. I ain't paying nothing, and then it wouldn't go through to ex parte. I gotta get ex parte trial. I ain't going to ex parte trial, so I can't pay no fine, or I can't get jail if I ain't pay the fine. And then the talking about education, I see now and again somebody from the association, the Road Safety Association, will get together some police of various ranks, and they have some discussion on NCN. And I remember listening to one where a sergeant said and made a point, which he feel was important, that drivers operating minibus drivers without conductors. And lo and behold, that made the 7 o'clock news. That was an item on the 7 o'clock news. Something as frivolous as that made a thing. So I don't know what's going on with the education. Is it getting any impact? And who really they're sending to schools? Who they're sending to talk to people? Are those persons trained to deliver the thing so that the people could get a message? That they create some impact, that they go away with something, and the whole education thing, it needs to be revamped. And who are they targeting? You sure think there's some way they target some little kindergarten children? Yeah, are those persons actually involved in the crime, in the armed traffic situation? Are those kindergarten students defaulters? Or you must say, well, you talk to them and I go home and I tell the mother or the father daddy must drive, the police must drive properly and things and so. That can't get no real kind of impact. So as we're using the word all the time, a holistic approach towards it. A holistic approach, and all got to be involved or all will be consumed.
Yeah, we talk about this ex parte. I think we need to explain a little quickly what we mean. Now, it simply means when you're issued with a ticket, as we said before, a traffic ticket, the traffic ticket will tell you what date you must appear in court if you want to contest the allegation by the police. So it's a conditional summons. You agree that you did commit the violation, you go to the clerk of court, and you pay whatever is the fine. Now, you have to have a system there which allows the police to know that the fine was paid. In the absence of the fine being paid in the specific time, you, the police, have to now make out, you get one of the copies of the ticket, and it goes into what we call the magistrate jacket. That is the jacket with the red writing for the young policemen who know. it goes into that ministry. You get ministerial jacket, you get the prosecutor's jacket. Statements are in the prosecutor's jacket, are things like summons and well, which the traffic ticket is, goes into the ministerial jacket. And the date, because the date that the person is required to report to court if they want to contest is also written at the time when the ticket is issued. It is there on the ticket. So the person then appears, if he wants to contest it, he appears before the magistrate and either represents himself or is represented. At that stage, a trial should take place if he goes there. So the policeman who issued the ticket has to go into the witness box and give evidence as to what actually transpired. Of course, he's going to be subjected to cross-examination and all that. Now, if the person to whom the ticket was issued does not appear in court on that time, on the date and time, then you go through a process and the magistrate might decide to have an ex parte trial. In other words, try the case behind the defendant's back. Defendant then turn up, so the magistrate decide on ex parte. He's trying it behind the person's back, and if you try behind your back, most certainly you're going to be found guilty because it's the police story alone. The police say what happened, the magistrate finds you guilty, whatever fine is imposed is imposed. And then shortly after, sometime after, whereas magistrate might very well say that this fine has to be paid in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Once the fine is not paid, a warrant is issued for your arrest. So that's what we say, it's a system. It's a comprehensive system. A warrant is issued for your arrest. That you pay the fine by X time or the warrant issued. So if it is that that system is not in place, but you're wasting time. Mr. President talked some time ago about 5,000 tickets and all of this everything. Just showing these numbers out there without ensuring that there's a system. The system is in place. The system is with the police. The system is with the court. This is a system you have. You have to make sure that the system is working. That police issuing traffic ticket and wasting time and money. You again, let me quote the figure. What they say. Police are proud to tell us that they issued. The Ghana Police Force reported 41,358 cases of driving under the influence of alcohol were made out against errant drivers between January 1 and April the 22nd, 2024. Of this number, imagine out of 41,358, 449 were brought before the courts, with the police securing 153 convictions. So it's 153 convictions out of 41,358 cases made for drunk driving. You're wasting time and resources. You're wasting time and resources. And even to that too, because I asked a question some time ago, the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act was amended in November of 2022. And the law says that the minimum fine for driving under the influence of alcohol is $200,000. And the traffic chief, I wrote a letter about it. The traffic chief said that, look, the fine ranges from 30,000 to 200,000. So I said, no, wrong. The Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act was amended. Apparently, the traffic chief does not know that. Where it says that the minimum fine for the force offender, the minimum, in case they know what you mean by minimum, it means that the lowest amount of fine, the least amount of fine that the court can impose is $200,000 Guyana dollars. And then they say for subsequent offenses, and of course it carries jail time as well. For subsequent offenses, they say $300,000. And a man came on to comment some time ago to say, well, I should not have asked the question of the traffic chief. I should have asked the court. Why is the traffic chief made a statement? You want to tell me the traffic chief don't know what is the minimum fine for driving under the influence of alcohol? He's not familiar with the amendment to the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act. And these things are telling, because when the person in charge of traffic in the entire country can come and tell you that the fine ranges between $30,000 and $200,000, when the amendment says that the minimum fine is $200,000, something wrong. Something is definitely wrong. Now, before I move on, I forget. During the last program, in response to Bharat Jagdeo telling a lot of lies about the commission of inquiry into the assassination plot against President Granger. You know, he come and got played back because to listen to him aggravates my soul. And of course, this afternoon he gonna come and he gonna cuss out somebody again. It aggravates my soul. I told people that he lied when he said that when this thing happened, the policemen lost their work, and I lie. Nobody lost the job. Lie. And I promise you that I conducted the inquiry, so I'm familiar. Mr. Conway said he sat through every session. I committed the inquiry. I conducted the inquiry, and I have copies or a copy of the electronic report. And I said, if you want a copy, just send me your email address and I will send it to you. And several persons have sent me their email addresses, and I have sent to those who have sent. So that's the case. Some of you I still want it and have not received it. It's what? It's about 102 or 103 pages, but you get a lot of things that you don't want to read, like the instrument and all of these type of things. You don't want to read it. You want to go into the meat of the thing. So give me your email address. And once you send your email address, I will provide you with a copy of that report to confirm my contention that the vice president lied when he said policemen were dismissed. But you know, lying is something that comes easily to him. Lying is something that comes easily to the vice president, so he can go and lie. But the problem is when you tell these lies, you can't sit back and allow it to go just like that. I know that it is not true, and therefore I have a responsibility to let you, the students, and the members of the public know what the truth is. We have that responsibility, and I will continue to do so. Let me continue as we attempt to close out today. Now, let me there is a slide I want to show you. Where it is. There's a slide I want to show, and then look, this here, folks. This is tomorrow afternoon. You know, we had a lot of controversy of the police using the word Negro. They say an word, but it's Negro they're using to describe people of African descent. And the Kidaki Amsterdam objected to it, and there has been an uproar since. I was on at least 2 panels over the weekend dealing with the same issue. Well, I saw an advertisement, the advertisement that you see on the screen there. There's to be a public meeting tomorrow, Friday, at 5 p.m. at Critchlow Labour College. All are invited. They have this, it's going to be moderated by Dr. Hines, and they have speakers to be Don Cush, former magistrate, former Commissioner Winston Felix, Mr. Nigel Hughes. We have Olive from Ipadaji, and the next lady there, I can't make out the name. But I'm glad to see that Mr. Felix, former Commissioner of Police, is on that panel, because I recall vividly that during the tenure of Felix as Commissioner of Police, we decided that the word will not be used. We decided that the word Negro should not be used to describe Guyanese of African descent. So we're going to hear, and I'm encouraging people to go Critchlow Labour College. I don't know that there is going to be any virtual engagement where you can see it on Zoom or so on. I don't know. But I'm saying to you, all those of you who are in Guyana, especially people of African descent, should go to this meeting tomorrow. Maybe you will get an opportunity to voice your concerns. And don't wait for that. People should be sending letters to the media and all of that, because this thing happened over a week now, and the extended squatter has been silent. And we have said before, this doesn't require any government intervention. This doesn't require any legislative change. All the commissioner got to do is send a message, decide now. We're probably going to wait until he meet with his executive leadership team and tell them that we must stop using the word immediately, send our station message, do a standing order, put it in the force order that the word is not to be used, and you suggest what word or what phrase should be used going forward. So that is what we and please go and attend this meeting. Now, the last subject I want to deal with this morning, is 1¾ hours already. And let me remind you that this is Thursday, and this is a makeup because we did not do any program on Monday. And Monday coming, I will be in court. I told you all already yesterday, those of you who were here yesterday, I have court on Monday, and therefore we decided to do it today. Because we can't wait, we shouldn't wait until next week, Wednesday. So we decided, so you get back to back. You can't want anything better, man. Many of you have been calling for that. You get back to back, you get Wednesday, and then you get Thursday. Right? You get Wednesday and get Thursday. Don't get covetous. Don't get covetous and ask for too much. Now let me close with this sweet one. U.S. court sentences drug convict Barry Dataram to time served and sealed his case. Let me read that back. U.S. court sentences drug convict Barry Dataram to time served and they seal his case. This is news source on May 31st. Let me read. It's not too long. 16 months after he traveled to the U.S. and was arrested and charged for outstanding drug-related cases, convicted Guyanese drug trafficker Barry Dataram has been sentenced to time served. Dataram had been found guilty in Guyana and served jail time on a number of drug trafficking charges locally. Dataram, who had been found guilty in Guyana and served jail time on a number of drug trafficking charges locally, traveled to the United States of America in January 2023 and was promptly arrested on arrival at JFK Airport in New York on outstanding warrants. However, on Wednesday, that's 2 Wednesdays ago, a New York judge imposed a time-served sentence on the convicted drug trafficker. His entire case in the U.S., including the sentencing details, has been sealed by the U.S. authorities. Sections of the indictment have also been redacted. In 2006, a local arrest warrant was issued for him in relation to drug trafficking. He was nabbed in Suriname and handed over to local authorities. After he was convicted on the drug trafficking charges, he was sentenced to 5 years in jail. After his release, Dataram kept a low profile, but got his U.S. passport renewed and decided to make a trip to the U.S. in January 2023. While the details of his indictment were never made public, it was suspected that the indictment were linked to a number of various drug operations that originated in Guyana with operational links in the U.S. Dataram now continues to live and work in the United States of America. Oh, beautiful. This is a man who is a U.S. citizen. They're in Guyana for all the years, decided to renew his passport and travel to U.S., knowing that there were warrants there for him, traveled to U.S. in January 2023. He was promptly arrested, and then to hear now that the man was sentenced to time served, and they sealed, what they say, he sentenced to time served, and the whole thing is sealed, the case sealed. In other words, they are revealing it to the public. But hey, people body got to be biting. I don't know the details of the case, but what I know, that in order for a drug trafficker like Dataram to be sentenced to time served and for the thing to be sealed, is that the canary was there. The canary, he sang a nice tune. People body got to bite. All of them who involved in the nastiness, all the criminal activities, time will come. The U.S. work in their own way. They're going to work in their own way. Names would have been called. I remember well in January 2023, when Dataram left Guyana to travel to the U.S., and the authorities saw, they get, some of you might know, but they can know because they get passenger information, who come in, who left the country. All of those things are collected, just in case you don't know. Once you left through a legal port, the authorities, the police, immigration, and all of that, they know that you have left. When you're coming in, you get advanced passenger information, so they know that you are coming. Right? I understand a man cuss out, a man got ballistic when he heard that Dataram was on a flight to the United States. A man in one of the law enforcement agencies. He went crazy, he cussed up and all sort of thing. And tell you, why did you allow the man to leave? If he had the power, he would have turned back the plane and prevent Dataram from leaving. So Dr. Ram left, and Dr. Ram is now sentenced to time served. I want you all cogitate. Think about that. Think about that. You don't have to have law enforcement experience as we do to understand what transpired there, at least to speculate on what transpired there. They gave up. I'm sure that the man gave up names. Gave up names. And not only his thing will be sealed, because based on what he would have told them, I am sure they're going to get sealed indictment against a lot of people. Seal indictments against a lot of people. A lot of people fighting for travel. I understand some of them even fighting to travel to Letem, although Letem is a part of Guyana, because you might left to go to Letem and the plane end up in Brazil, and then you get a trip from Brazil straight to the US, free of cost. Free of cost. So I sitting back and I waiting. And I sitting back and I waiting because I know, having some knowledge about the system works, that there's no way Dr. Ram, a convicted drug trafficker, would have been sentenced to time served if he did not give them valuable information. Never, never can be sentenced to time served and have the details redacted. You know what I mean by redacted? They blank it out so nobody can see the names and dates and times that are in there. They seal, and whatever they release, they redact portion. So you can't see if he called somebody name, you can't see the name. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to give his closing remarks, and then we are going to move on. But Cece, I find this one very, very sweet, man. Dr. Ram sentenced to time served. Sentenced to time served. And then they seal the whole indictment. This is a matter that's finished, you know, in terms of Dr. Ram. They seal it, and then they redact part that they release. What are your views, my friend?
Well, when I read it, I remember and use of my board, and raises call your board man, so Canary, Toto, a lot of perhaps whistling took place, that whistle, and persons in Guyana, as you say in the batty, got to be biting. Anyway, I read the papers yesterday, and I saw a headline, I think Stabrook News, page 15. Police force training centers get international accreditation. And I will read the first paragraph. United States Embassy in Georgetown, in collaboration with the Pan American Development Foundation, PADF in bracket, and Guyana Police Force, GPF in bracket, have announced the successful accreditation of 3 GPF training centers located at Saudi Essequibo, Adventure Barbies, and Georgetown in a release from the U.S. Embassy. The U.S. Embassy stated, "This is shocking news because my knowledge about accreditation is that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that you have to go through, and you have to reach what we call gold standards or certain benchmarks. They say you got to reach these gold standard benchmarks before you could be accredited. So I know when this process started, and they said it ended in June. Something is definitely not right there. And I know a little bit about accreditation because when I was an attachment with the Jamaica Constabulary Staff College, Jamaica, the police force, they had applied for accreditation, and they had over 200 gold standards that they had to reach, and including those for the staff college. And I doubt whether they had achieved those standards. But here it is, we saying, I don't know if the people put in the horse before the cart, because some officers understand gone to Phoenix, Arizona, and maybe before they left, they receive accreditation, and accreditation for the three colleges in Barbies, Georgetown, and Essequibo. And then what I also read is that they quoted a statement from the extended squatter, and here he said, "This talking about accreditation. This accomplishment is a major milestone in the implementation of the GPS 2022-2026 strategic plan. The police get what we call a so-called strategic plan, where they cut and paste from all over the place. And it is not smart. Because any strategic plan has got to be smart. SMART. It's got to be specific. This is. It got to be there's measurable. It's got to be achievable. It got to be realistic, and it got to be task oriented. And the so-called plan where they get it is not smart at all. And they're saying that they achieve a strategic milestone. If it was in place since 2022, could the police say what milestone they have achieved since then? I'll talk more about it, and I'll write more about it very shortly. But this is total nonsense, and I can't understand that they have reached that gold standards were set, and they have achieved those gold standards. They have achieved those benchmarks. Those things take time, and they take some form of accreditation take years before you could be properly accredited. But maybe they shortcut the thing.
All right, CC, we're going to have to talk about that at some other time. Our time is almost up, but I want to close by saying, again, reminding us that Sergeant Vaughn was killed almost 3 months ago, Police Sergeant Vaughn. And up to now, we're not hearing anything. Remember they said accidental friendly fire, some around, they said was under close arrest for killing a police sergeant, one of their colleagues. Almost 3 months now, and you can't hear anything about it. And remember, one of the reasons I tell you, people, we talk about PVPC, we talk about pedophiles, perverts, predators, criminals, and corruption. That is what the C should stand for. The P is pedophiles, perverts, predators, and the C is either corruption or criminals. That's what we're going to talk. And let me close by telling you remind you what GHK Lal, he said what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. And if you want to hear like listening later today, you're going to hear it was a big bacchanal just the other day with the need and she Makume. Big comments the other day with the need and she Makume. I don't want to hear so a passing straight. A fella pull me and tell me wait. Same time Eden Osborne come off the bus. And it's now the Makume start to cuss. Yeah, so that is what. Eden and she Makume. Tune in later. You are going to hear it if you have the constitution to sit down and listen to lies. Well, folks, as I indicated earlier, today, Thursday, the makeup, there's going to be no program on Monday coming. I will be in court. And, somebody done said, so we all unreasonable, Somebody say, well, come out Friday. I have another engagement tomorrow. I can't make it tomorrow. But depending on how things go next week, we might very well have a makeup for you then. We are promising, because we don't make any promise that we can't deliver, right? Somebody telling me a something good. Somebody sang, what you know about shame, the Makume say. You didn't shame last week, Saturday. When your husband came home earlier, instead, you had to hide the man underneath the bed. I'll give you some more verses a little later. Girl, you should shame for cost me for true. Is me in need who you talking to? When you were sick in the hospital, I let you me dress me nighty and all. Music, you go hear, oh lad, oh. So, God spare life. Next Wednesday is the next scheduled program. And again, I tell you all, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button. And tell other people, man. I know you who are here, you get the thing, so you know what's going on. You get it. So tell others to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, so that when we schedule this program, you are going to get the notification. And then you say, Listen, young woman, stop making strife. You want to put me against my wife. In front me face, you lying and she, my wife and have nobody but me. I know that man you're speaking about. That is our cousin Rupert from South. When he come home with a sleeping tree, sometime I myself does take he for me. Bye-bye, folks. Stay well until we meet again. I gotta keep me calypso talent. I gotta own the skills, you know. I know singer. I know singer, so don't people complimenting me that the song good and so on. Anyhow, stay well until next Wednesday. For now, bye.